Here's an example of writing an equation of a line that is parallel to this blue line and goes through the point 2/3. So let's just take a moment and identify what does parallel mean. To have a line that is parallel, you must have the same slope as this blue line. So the blue line is in slope-intercept form. So its slope is 1/5. So I'm just going to write down 1/5 here. For it to be parallel in this purple line, since we just talked about same slope, the new equation must also be 1/5. And we want this new line to go through the point 2/3. So the point is going to be 2/3. So we'll call this x and y. Now we're going to use method 2, where we know the slope, but we don't know the y-intercept. So we're going to substitute in the point and the slope into this green equation and find out what the y-intercept is. So 1/5 is going to go in for m, and then my 2 and 3 go in for x and y. So I have 3 equals that 1/5, which is my slope, and then my 2, which replaces the x, and then I'm going to solve this equation for b. So let's first multiply that 1/5 times 2, and we get 2/5. Leave the left side alone, and then add b. Now we have to solve for b. So we're going to subtract 2/5 from both sides. So 3 minus 2/5 equals b. What we have here are unlike denominators. So I need to change that 3 to a denominator of 5. So I'm going to increase that numerator by 5. So 3 times 5 is 15 minus, and then that 2/5. So 15/5 minus 2/5 is 13/5. This is my y-intercept. Now I can go ahead and use my y equals mx plus b, substitute my slope and my y-intercept in. So my slope was 1/5. My y-intercept is 13/5. If you wanted to take the time to graph these two on a coordinate plane, you'll notice that these two lines, the original blue one and now this green one, will be parallel. This problem is very similar to the one that we just did, but now we're talking about perpendicular. To be perpendicular, you must have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So here is my first equation, and its slope is 0.25, or 1/4. So let's write that down. And its new line has to be perpendicular. So what we have to do is we have to reciprocate and change the sign. And this new line is going to go through the point -1, 2. So there's my point. Now we need to figure out what is that new equation. So we're going to use method 2. We're going to substitute -4, or -4/1 in for the slope, and then -1 in for x, and 2 in for y. So 2 is my y. My slope is -4/1, or just -4. My x is -1, and I'm going to solve it for b, which b represents my y-intercept. So I'll leave the 2 alone on the left. negative 4 over 1 times negative 1 is positive 4, and then I have plus b. Solve this equation for b. 2 minus 4 equals b, so b equals 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Now I can use slope-intercept form and substitute my slope and y-intercept in. So my slope again was negative 4 over 1, or negative 4, and my y-intercept is negative 2. If you want to take the time to graph this, graph it to and see that these two lines intersect at right angles.